What is up, everybody? This is your guy Cly, and welcome back to Budget Buys. And today, I'm going to be talking about the new wireless gaming speaker from fivebelow. Now, like most of their Bluetooth speakers these days, this is part of their 5 Beyond series, but this just barely qualifies for 5 Beyond, coming in at $595. Also, this is part of a bit of an interesting trend going on at fivebelow right now, where they're coming out with even more gaming tech, despite the fact that they dropped all of that money on the Bugha license not too long ago. However, unlike the Bugha gear, all of the stuff that I've been seeing recently comes in at well under $10. So I guess they're trying to come out with more budget-friendly options while still keeping the Bugha gear around as a premium product. Now, once again, this is a fivebelow store brand product. You can tell that by looking on the bottom and seeing it is distributed by 1616 Holdings. And it's kind of interesting. On the box, you can see that it has a color-changing LED, a rechargeable lithium battery, as well as dual left and right speakers, which is pretty impressive since this is just a $6 speaker. While a good portion of their Bluetooth speakers are in the $6 price range, those typically only have a single driver. Now, on the back, it goes into a little more detail when it comes to the features on offer. We have lighting with 8 color changing LED, a battery capacity of 1200 milliamp hours, which kind of took me by surprise due to the fact that they tend to top out at about 3 to 500 milliamp hours. I guess they need the extra power for the second speaker. A playtime of 3 hours, charging time of 3 hours, a speaker output of 3 watts per driver. It includes an 11.81 inch micro USB charging cable, and the final dimensions are 11.8 inches by 2.56 inches by 2.17 inches. It also has a sleek shape and design, dual left and right speakers, and multicolor changing LEDs, as mentioned previously. And here we have the speaker. And I gotta say, it looks pretty promising. Not only do we have the promised dual drivers, but we have the controls here on the top, a little hole there for the LED, which is red when it's charging and blue when it's in Bluetooth pairing mode or actively paired. On the back, we not only have the label where it talks about the various specs, but we also have the micro USB charging port and a dedicated power switch for the LEDs. Also, we have a couple of holes here to provide a little additional airflow for the speaker drivers. And on the bottom, we have a couple of padded feet. Side note, on the fivebelow website, you'll actually see them demonstrating the speaker with the feet on the top. So they've got it upside down. Though that doesn't really make a difference. It would be a different story if this was a proper stereo speaker, but all of my testing has shown that this is indeed mono. The same combined audio track comes out of each driver. Though, of course, that's not really that big of a deal with sound bars. It would be different if it was on a pair of speakers that sat on either side of you. Now, before I go any further, let's talk about some of the controls on this thing, starting with the ones on the top. In the middle, we have the play-pause button, which doubles as the power button. To the right of that, we have the volume up and next track button. And on the left, we have the volume down and previous track button. Track navigation is done on short presses and volume adjustment is done on long presses on the respective buttons. For our final control, I want to talk about this dedicated power switch for the LEDs on the front, because that's not something I've seen on any of fivebelow's other speakers. I guess they kind of took it to heart when everybody was asking how to turn off the LEDs on the various Bugha products. I've gotten that question on pretty much every review I've done for that product line, especially the headphone stand. So it's nice to know that you can use these speakers with and without that feature active. It's also going to reduce your power drain when using the speaker, though these LEDs aren't exactly that power hungry, so I don't know how much of a difference that's going to make ultimately. Anyway, let's go ahead and turn on the LEDs and check them out. As you can see, the LEDs are quite bright even when I'm using my recording lights, and they're using our old friends, the automated color changing LEDs, which don't require a control circuit. As such, there will be a little bit of a timing difference in different production runs, and that can lead to LED color desynchronization. which you've probably already noticed has started happening. The fact that they splurged a little bit and went with an individual LED per lit section is kinda coming back to bite them right now. Now let's go ahead and turn off the lights to see just how bright it is. Alright, I can definitely see why this would look great in the dark, but at the same time you would definitely want manual control over these LEDs because it can be a bit bright. And you know what? The fact that you can turn off the LEDs means that this would be a pretty decent speaker to use if you want to listen to something while falling asleep. Be it a radio play, podcast, random YouTube videos, you name it. It would probably work here. Now, let's test out the audio quality, shall we? Alright, I've got to admit, the audio quality on this thing is pretty dang decent. It's definitely on the higher end of any of the fivebelow Bluetooth speakers I've reviewed so far. But is it really a gaming speaker? And I'm asking that question for multiple reasons. Because Bluetooth is not the best when it comes to gaming. First off, there's going to be a little bit of latency in your audio. And while that's not going to be the biggest issue for most people out there, I can definitely see quite a few people being irritated by it. I fall somewhere in the middle. Next up is the issue that I mentioned in my review of the Bluetooth gaming earbuds from fivebelow. And that's the fact that not every gaming platform is going to be compatible. Fortunately, this is not a gaming headset, so you don't have to worry about the microphone portion, so that does open things up for many of the platforms out there. However, if you're gaming on, let's say, a console in the Xbox family, or a computer that doesn't have integrated Bluetooth, well then, you're not really going to be using these. Fortunately, fivebelow kinda did address that issue because they have started carrying Bluetooth audio adapters, which act as both a transmitter and receiver, but I can't say for certain that they won't introduce a little bit of additional latency into the mix. And finally, there's the fact that this speaker bar only has a 3-hour battery life. And I don't know about you, but my gaming sessions are typically a bit longer than 3 hours. Okay, I guess you could keep these plugged in and charging at all times, but at that point I'd probably rather get a set of standard plug-in speakers. Or that might just be me. Of course, I think I know why they decided to call these gaming speakers, and that's simply due to the fact that they did in some way integrate RGB. Because as we all know, RGB makes it better. Which reminds me, I've got a heck of a lot of RGB stuff coming up. Thanks, fivebelow. And another reason I think they called these gaming speakers is simply due to the fact that if they slap gaming on the packaging for whatever they carry in their store, it tends to sell better. Or at least it should if my view counts have anything to say about it. Any gaming gear from fivebelow that I review tends to do quite well. With all of that being said, I actually do think this is quite a decent grab at just $6. It's a really nice sounding Bluetooth speaker for the money, though I do think calling it a gaming speaker might be overstating things a bit. And for those looking to pick up a set, you can find these both in fivebelow stores as well as on their website as of the recording of this video. Now, with all of that out of the way, I'm gonna go ahead and say, until next time, this is your guy, Cly, signing off.